Hello and welcome to Edinburgh Watch Company. My name is Jonathan, and on today's video we're going to be having another look at the latest new arrivals that have just come in this week. For those of you who watched the last one we did, my sincere thanks to you. Over 5,500 of you have watched this video on our latest collection. So this week we have got 6 gorgeous watches to share with you, 2 of the Datejust 41s and 4 Rolex sports watches. Each of these watches are in absolutely pristine condition. Some of them are unworn, all complete with all their original box and papers. And we've tried our best to make them very, very competitively priced in the marketplace. So let's start off with the Rolex GMT Master, or affectionately known as the PEPSI. Well, this watch needs no introduction. It's a watch that has been around since the 1950s, a watch that Rolex and Pan Am worked together to design to help their pilots traveling around the world who wanted to have more than one time zone. Now, I'm sure many won't actually use it for that intended purposes, but the actual color scheme is the one that really works. Here with the blue and the red on the ceramic bezel, it is just a striking looking watch. So this is the absolute latest generation of the GMT Master, and importantly it houses a new movement that has a 70-hour power reserve, is more resistance to shock and also more resistance to magnetism as well. Timekeeping just as good as the earlier models of this, to plus or minus 2 seconds per day, so I think that's going to be accurate enough for most of you. I love this watch. I think it's a really, really good looking watch. I think it works so well with this Jubilee bracelet and a very different look to what we've seen of the more recent GMTs. But going back to the early days, the GMT Master was available with a PEPSI bracelet as well. You can see here right away this one has still got its protective stickers on the clasp. As I say, this one hasn't been worn. It's a 2020 watch, and it's actually available with the balance of the 5-year warranty. So automatic movement to chronometer standard. The bezel here on the top, this is actually a rotating bezel, but it actually turns in both directions, and this allows you to read another time zone from the bezel. You can see here this red hand at the bottom of the dial here. That's again the third hand to help you give that different time zone. Date function here, 2.5 times magnification for the what we call the Cyclops here. And it's finished in stainless steel. This is what Rolex call 904L grade stainless steel. So very, very strong, very, very durable. You can see here it's polished on the side. Likewise on this side too, it's actually polished there. And then you can see here you have the Rolex crown and then the crown guards just to protect it. Now, this Jubilee bracelet features what we call the Easy Link. Now, the Easy Link was introduced back in around about 2007 on the Oyster bracelets. And the Jubilee bracelets of recent had what we call the concealed clasp. Now, I think what Rolex have done is they've said, well, a lovely looking bracelet that it is, but with a concealed clasp, you have a slight restriction with the bracelet in that if it's a very hot day, you can't actually adjust it to make it bigger. However, with the Easy Link function, what we're able to do is, if I just put it back in now, there, we can actually, if you just see there on the camera, if I pull this away, there, and that gives you an extra half link, and it's just enough to make a difference, to make it comfortable for you. Let me actually show you this watch on my wrist. Now, my wrist is an 8-inch wrist, so quite a big wrist, and but it'll just give you some sort of perspective on how it looks. It really is quite a looker. There we go. You can see there, it's absolutely beautiful. Lovely colors, great footprint on the wrist with a 40mm case size. You can see here on the bracelet, polished running down through the middle, satinized on the edge, and then this just clips shut, and you get the extra cover on the back of the clasp there, like the safety clasp there. So when this is shut here, like that, this closes down there too. So there we are, a really lovely watch, 2020 Rolex GMT Master, the PEPSI. So there we are, that's our first one. So sticking with the sports range, well, let's have a look at this. Well, this is the first one we've had, affectionately known as the StarBucks. This is the new September release that came out here in 2020, and it builds on the Rolex Hulk, a watch that's been out for many years but was discontinued. So this is their new look. Some call it the Kermit. Again, it with the black dial and the green bezel here, it's the new look effectively for the sports Submariner. Case size, however, has changed slightly in this. We've gone from 40mm up to 41mm. We've also got slightly narrower lugs here as well, so that's a slightly new, different look. Bracelet, again, it tapers slightly more than the last one, but still retains the glide lock clasp on it, but it has a new movement. So this has got the new 3235 movement in it, and this has a power reserve of 70 hours. So again, that's quite a jump up from the sort of 48-hour power reserve you had in the earlier models. Accuracy just as good, plus or minus 2 seconds per day. And it also has more resistance to shock, so they built some really clever technology into the movement there, and also higher levels of resistance to magnetism. So great watch. Again, 904L stainless steel here, so really, really strong. You have the case lugs here, protecting the crown here. And it has the satinized bracelet there, so that's traditional, what you'd see on the Submariners there. So it doesn't quite show the scratches quite in the same way as if it had the polished center links. Glide lock clasp on the back here. And I'll just take it off just now so we can see it. What's really nice about the glide lock clasp is it makes it very, very easy to adjust. So all we do is we just pull that, and then you can just see it sliding there. You can move it up and down there. You can see it there. Forgive me if you see me looking away. I'm actually looking at a monitor I've got here. I just want to make sure I'm catching all the right angles so you can see this watch at its best. But it really is an absolute cracker. Put it on my wrist here. And there you go. That gives you perspective on it on my size. As I say, an 8-inch wrist. So really, really lovely there. I'll just show you, because that's a little bit too tight, so if I just go and pull this down now, pull that out to its maximum position, and it'll fit me like a glove. There we go. Really, really cracking looking watch. So that's an interesting one with this one. Price we've got this watch, in fact, is the same as our Hulk. What would you go for? Would you be having a Hulk, or would you have the StarBucks? Let's actually go on to that. Look at the Hulk here. Done very well with these watches in the past. There's a really big following for the Hulk, and you know, for many years in the lead up to the Basel Watch Fair, all the speculators saying, is this going to stop, will it continue? And they've continued it year after year, and suddenly they've stopped it. So a really good investment watch, I think. Prices certainly are quite high just now, which is what I think you'd expect. But again, I think we've got this watch priced fairly compared to some of the others on the market. It's a 2018 watch, and this is in absolutely pristine condition. You can never say never. Will they ever make the Hulk again? I doubt it. So I think the fact this is now discontinued, it makes it a really, really interesting watch. Case size, this is the 40mm. So you can see here it's got the slightly wider maxi case lugs on it here. You've got the larger hour markers here, again really, really good for nighttime reading. The luminous coating also going on the hour hands here as well. You've got the Cyclops here giving you the 2.5 times magnification. The ceramic bezel here is a unidirectional bezel, so for those going to be using it for diving, you'd really only want it to go in one way. It has the Rehort dial here, it has the crown guards there with the Rolex logo, and again it has that lovely sort of satinized bracelet on it as well. So let's just extend that fully here, so we just do a quick wrist shot for you. There we go. Just beautiful, isn't it? Really just see that green colour popping there. And let's have a quick look here. Let's actually put the two of these together so we can just see how they compare. Again, you can just see that slightly larger 41mm case. Looking down here, you can see slightly narrower lugs on the new model. So it'll be interesting. Love to hear your comments, what your preference is, you know, versus the 40 versus the 41mm. But either one, two absolutely lovely watches, and hopefully we'll get some more of these. We're also hoping to be getting a normal Submariner with the black dial coming through hopefully in the next few weeks. So please keep an eye out for that. And our last sports watch, here we have another one of the Submariners. This is the new Submariner with a 41mm case. So delighted to have this one. We had a blue one recently. Again, superb looking watch. It really is. And we found now that the steel and gold is really coming back in, because it's great value. I mean, we're actually selling this watch probably less expensive than some of the new black ones. All steel ones are actually out there but it's a great looking watch. I think the combination of colors work very well, particularly with this black ceramic bezel on it. Powering this watch is the new automatic movement with a 70-hour power reserve. Again, high levels of resistance to magnetism and shock there. Accurate to within plus or 2 seconds per day. Again, really, really good for an automatic watch. The bracelet on this one's slightly different than what you'd see on the Submariner. In the links here, you can see it has the polished center links and then the satinized edges to them here. Again, polished on the side there, and again it features its glide lock clasp. You can see it still actually has its protective stickers in place on the back of the clasp there. So as of before, you can see we can just pull this here and this just moves like that. So again, makes it really, really easy to adjust on the wrist. And there we go, that's it there. A quick wrist shot for you. Really, really cracking looking watch. Again, these are pretty hard to get. Superb. So that's it, that is our sports collection. And then we go on here to a couple of Datejusts. Now this one's just come in. This is a 2020 watch, in absolutely beautiful condition. This model came out, I think, around about 2017. So Rolex's first foray into the larger case size. So their largest model before the Datejust 2 came out was a 36mm. But the market wanted a bigger watch, so Rolex came out with a Datejust 2. Again, a very, very popular watch when it came out, slightly chunkier. When this model came out, they introduced the new movement, again, like the sports watches, with the 70-hour power reserve, the high resistance to magnetism and shock, but it's so slim. That's the lovely thing about this watch. When it's on your wrist, you barely know what you're wearing. It's so, so thin. This traditionally has this 18-karat white gold fluted bezel. Beautiful sunburst dial. Well, again, we'll get some macro shots for you so you can see this one, but we sold one of these a few weeks ago and it went across to the Isle of Man, and the customer wasn't quite sure how it would look, but when he actually got the watch, took it out of the box and the sun hit the dial, he absolutely loved it. So this is the sunburst dial. You can see there it has the index markers on it here, so they've got a really strong luminous coat, so no problem reading this watch at night time. While being automatic, it's also waterproof as well. This one will take you down to 100 meters, so that's going to be enough for most of you. This crown here actually screws into the side of the case. You can see that Rolex logo on it there. And this particular one is fitted with the Jubilee bracelet. Now, the Jubilee bracelets in these newer models are much heavier and more solid than the older ones, so much less likely to absolutely droop. So you can see here it's absolutely tight. I'm just holding up the camera there. But they made a slight change, similar to the PEPSI, in that they stopped the concealed clasp and actually fitted it here with the Easy Link there, so you can see me just pulling it there, and that just gives you a little bit more space on it there. So again, a slightly more practical bracelet, really, really comfortable to wear. Let me show you on my wrist there. There you go. That's it there, and see, it's so, so light. Just going to hold it up to camera there so you can just get an idea of its thickness by means of height as well. It's really very, very slim, and you can see very easy, just fits underneath the shirt cuff there. So overall, a really lovely watch, and we've got this at a really good price actually, I think, for this particular model. And that's definitely worth having a look at. We've also got this, not featuring it today, but just so you know, we've actually got one with the dark blue as well on the Oyster bracelet. And here onto our last one. Again, same theme, new Datejust 41, but this one here is in stainless steel and gold. Now this one, I remember, is $9995, so that's under list price, which I think is a really, really good price for one of these. Again, they're not quite achieving the same premiums as some of the, like the Wimbledon dials, the rhodium dials, the dark blue dials. So again, I think it's really good value. Beautiful crisp dial on this here. Really, really works very well with steel and gold. Index markers there with a luminous coating. Apart from that, a really sort of uncluttered dial. Solid gold bezel on the top here, that fluted bezel. Likewise as the crown. Solid gold, and are all the links too that run through the bracelet here. This also features the Easy Link function there too. Again, you can just pull that out there to make it fit. And a quick wrist shot there for you so you can just see what it's like. There we go. Really lovely. I'll show you also, we've matched that up against our silver one, so you can just see a quick contrast there of how these two look, and great looking watches all around. So there we are. That is a quick review of this week's collection. We have got loads more watches coming in, so that just gives you a quick feel of that. Thank you so much for watching today's new launch. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube today and you'd like to be subscribed to our channel, then all you have to do is click there. And I think I've got the right finger there. Well, that'll notify you to all our latest videos. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, have a look there as well, because we're going to post all our watches up. Meantime, thanks very much for watching. Please come back and see us soon. Bye-bye.